Hello and welcome to all. At birth, some animals look totally different from what they will look like as adults. For example, when the kangaroo is born, it is only 2 centimeters long, the semnopithecus is orange at birth, whereas the adults of its species are gray, or pandas are 900 times lighter than their mother. Surprising, isn't it? So, to find out what these animals, and many others, look like when they are born, stay with us until the end. I promise you will be surprised. Originally from Australia, the kangaroos, these virtuoso kickboxers, are quite extraordinary animals. They are even the largest marsupials in the world. But perhaps the most impressive thing about these animals is how they look when they're born. The reason? Well, the kangaroo's calf is expelled at the embryonic stage, weighing only 350 milligrams and measuring only 2 centimeters long. So, it's really tiny. In addition, the baby kangaroo will be pink, blind, and hairless. You have to admit that he doesn't look like much when he is born. This is because kangaroos have a gestation period of only about a month, so it is quite natural that the baby is that small. However, this does not mean that the baby kangaroo will stop developing in the pouch. Quite the contrary. Called Joey by the Australians, the baby kangaroo will slip back into its mother's pouch and attach itself to one of its 4 nipples. A few weeks later, Joey will spend more and more time in the outside world. And from the age of 8 months, the kangaroo will finally be able to get out of his mother's pouch for good. At that moment, he will look a little more like his parents, although he will still be very small in size. The semnopithecus of Fair is very atypical monkeys. Originally from Southeast Asia, this primate strangely resembles an orangutan when it comes to the world. Obviously, it has nothing to do with this hominid. And yet, at birth, they do have a shiny orange coat, while their parents remain gray. This distinction is no coincidence. On the contrary, if semnopithecus babies are orange, it's not just to look cute. In fact, its color is vital to them. The reason? Well, the semnopithecus, when it is small, is constantly watched by the members of its group, more than 40 primates. So, when an intruder or predator approaches, each mother rushes to grab a baby and escape into the trees, while the males stay behind to protect their backs. And that's where the color of the semnopithecus makes sense. Their orange fur is designed to help mothers immediately spot the little monkeys and grab them as quickly as possible. This helps them avoid losing them. But, as soon as the semnopithecus babies start to gain confidence and move away from their mothers, their orange fur gradually turns gray. Therefore, after a few months, the semnopithecus babies will look perfectly like the other members of their group. It must be said that this is a truly incredible animal species. Pandas are really fascinating animals. One of their arguments for seduction is definitely their looks. They look like giant teddy bears. But if pandas are so eye-catching, it's also because newborns are exceptional. Pandas are extremely small at birth, weighing an average of just 100 grams, 900 times less than their mothers. This tiny size obviously makes pandas as vulnerable as they are fragile. To survive, therefore, a panda will need a great deal of care and attention. However, there is a reason why they are so small. The gestation period of the panda ranges from 90 days to a mere 160 days. It is therefore natural that pandas are not very massive. On top of that, the special thing about baby pandas is that they are born blind, almost hairless, and look like big pink rats. This appearance is, admittedly, very unattractive. However, all this will soon change as the hairs become colored very quickly and the baby pandas grow and grow bigger very fast. Around the age of 3 months, they start to look more or less like an ordinary panda. This kind of metamorphosis of the panda is absolutely amazing. By the way, do you know how long the giant panda lasts on average? Is it? Option A. 80 years old. Option B. 40 years. Option C. 20 years. Write the right answer in the comments and we'll see at the end of the video if you were right. The pink flamingo is a large bird of 1.5 meters with thin webbed legs and a super thick curved beak capable of filtering water and mud to extract mollusks and crustaceans. What sets it apart? It is obviously its plumage. It is well known that the particularity of this giant bird is that it is literally pink. On the other hand, if you thought that baby pink flamingos are also born with this color, then think again. Instead, these birds come into the world with a fluffy white plumage. Yes, you heard right. Of course, no one could imagine them like that when they are small. On top of that, flamingo chicks have very large legs, a small body, and a straight beak, unlike adults. As a result, these chicks are unable to feed themselves. It is their parents who feed them with an oily liquid poured directly into their beak. However, from 2 months of age, the flamingo's beak may become curved. This means that baby flamingos will finally be autonomous, or almost so. But how will the baby flamingo become pink, you might ask? Well, it's because it's in his genes. If baby flamingos are white at birth, they do start to turn white a year later, and then they turn pink at about 3 years of age. A natural change that is accentuated by their diet. Indeed, flamingos love artemia, a small crustacean that contains keratin. It is this pigment that more or less colors the plumage of these birds. Surprising, isn't it? The great horned owl doesn't bear his name for no reason. Measuring 75 centimeters in height and nearly 2 meters in wingspan, this owl is the largest nocturnal raptor in the world. It is also called aristocratic, not only because of its large size but also because its head is topped by 8 centimeters long egrets. However, the great horned owl does not emerge as massive and majestic. Proof of this is this unfortunate little chick that eventually fell out of its nest. Fragile and helpless, it had no chance of survival. That's right, this baby great horned owl is not so big when it's small. Far from it. He doesn't have his egrets to tell him from the owls yet, and he's really tiny. Luckily for him, he was found at the right time by the right people. A considerate family who decided to contact an association to take care of him. In the end, the little owl was able to triple in size thanks to the care that was given to him and joined his family, where he will be able to continue growing until he reaches his impressive adult size. Snakes are animals as surprising as they are terrifying. They are scary reptiles that are very well known to the general public. However, few people know what a snake looks like when it is born. And yet this is a unique and very interesting moment. In fact, once the egg has matured, the snake inside manages to pierce the shell thanks to a hatching tooth designed for this purpose, which will disappear some time later. Apart from this peculiarity, the newborn snake is very small. You might think it is cute, but in reality, this is not the case at all. And for good reason. Even if it's only a brand new little one, once out of its comfortable shell, the snake already has its hunting instincts. It has a highly developed sense of smell to spot its prey, and, bad surprise, venomous snakes are capable of creating venom from the day they are born. And yes, you can't rely on appearances, because even though they are small, snakes are still very dangerous. As for snakes that do not have venom, such as anacondas, they are already more than 1 meter long when they are born. This makes them just as terrifying as their parents. It is well known that the elephant is a quite surprising animal. It is endowed with an excellent memory, a spirit of solidarity, unfailing loyalty. In short, this mammal has an astonishing behavior and intelligence. But beyond these remarkable qualities, the elephant is rather known as the largest land animal. And not without reason. It's over 4 meters high at the withers and weighs no less than 6 tons. Therefore, it would not be strange to learn that the baby elephant is not light either. At birth, the elephant weighs more than 120 kilograms and is already 95 centimeters tall. Which is, for a newborn, really huge. But you are not at the end of your surprises, because the baby elephant can walk from the moment it is born, which allows it to follow the herd during its nomadic life. On the other hand, it will only be able to drink water with its trunk and eat grass when it is sufficiently developed, from about 5 months old. In the meantime, it is its mother who feeds it during all this time. We must admit that this is a unique animal species. Tapirs are animals that are very easy to recognize. They have a characteristic nose that ends in a short prehensile trunk that they use to catch food. With a massive body, the tapir is more than 2 meters long and weighs 300 kilograms. However, chances are that you will never be able to recognize baby tapirs. And with good reason. Newborns have stripes. Baby tapirs can be distinguished from adults by their reddish brown and white speckled coat. They really look like a wild boar. Yet it is indeed a tapir. Nevertheless, if baby tapirs are striped, it is for a reason. This particular characteristic serves them as perfect camouflage in the bushes. The baby tapirs will thus be able to protect themselves more or less against possible predators. But these beautiful stripes will eventually disappear as the tapir grows. So, when it is about 6 months old, the tapir will start to develop an adult coat, brown-black. At the same time, this animal will gain a lot of weight and will already reach almost its adult size. Now it's your turn to tell us which of these animals is, in your opinion, the most amazing of all. If not, the longevity of the giant panda is 20 years on average. The longevity record is held by Bassi, a giant panda. He lived for 37 years, which is the equivalent of more than a century for humans. Interesting, isn't it? I hope many of you found the right answer.